getting in the basic breadboard thing working. So I would like to show, let me see what's going on. So Amin has said use the one you just sent now. Okay, don't use the old one. So they should be able to get it. All right, get your video started and let me get some poll from the room. How many of you have used a breadboard before? You need to get your video on first so I can see you guys. All right, Father, have you used a breadboard before?
No.
All right, very good. Someone, have you used a breadboard before?
No.
Amin?
No.
All right.
No.
Lukman?
Kind of used it. Wait, so was the project due today? Because
the project is due in 2 weeks, but you guys are supposed to send me your preference of the project that you would do. Well, okay, let's get going. I want you to get your breadboard here, all your components here, bring it here because it will be kind of show and tell. I would show you, I would like you to look at those things as I show you things on my side. So get all the electronic stuff that you brought together. So that's gonna happen. Okay. What is the voltage of this AA battery? Just any AA battery. What is the voltage? Read up. Do you have a AA battery? If you don't, get a AA battery. You know AA battery, AAA battery, AA battery. The batteries that go into so many things in a clock. What is the voltage? Read up. What is the voltage written on there? There should be a V and a number written next to it. I want you to look at a AA battery. Lukman, do you have a AA battery with you? Amin, Saban? Do you have this kind of battery with you?
Oh, yes, I do. I thought you were talking about the small one. The voltage is 9.
I was talking about the small one, of course, before, but okay. What is the difference between them? So there's voltage difference. What does voltage mean? What does the voltage difference mean for us? So for every electrical system, there are two things that are important: voltage and current. How much current it can give to our circuit. So the higher the voltage, hold on a second, you get the second link?
Yeah, we got the second link.
So now, sorry, there's some kids here who still cannot log in. Now the voltage is one part of the story. The other part is the current. So higher the voltage, the more current can pass, right? Now, but if you have a component that's rated for lower voltage, then how do you use a bigger voltage with that? We have to, I would say, dumb it down, I would say. We need, if I want to use a 2 volts LED with a 9 volt battery, I have to dumb it down. I have to put some resistors to use up some of the voltage. So when the voltage across an LED is always close to its rating. So just some basic things, I want to get them out of there, and we'll repeat those again and again. Let's see, there's still somebody sending messages on. Send us another link. Yeah, thank you, Fatma, for sending the link. I think those boys are not able to get things in order. Anyway, now, and of course, there are two terminals, right? There's one positive and one negative. We call positive one as live, right? Hot. So we use red color for the positive terminal always. When I say red colors, so there'll be always. So you must have got this also by now, right? Which is 9 volt connector. 9-volt battery. Have you got this? All right. So take one out. Take one out because we'll be building simple thing with this. So, and you will see that it can only fit one way. The bigger one goes on the smaller one. But if you fit it right way and snugly, it should click onto it. Let me close my background because that's kind of not showing everything that needs to be shown. So when you snugly fit it, then you have two colored wires coming off. Red is going to be positive, black is going to be negative, right? So we call red as live and black as ground or 0 volt, right? Whichever way you want to look at it. Hold on a second, I think Jibril has problem again. All right, so now red one is hot, positive, whatever you like to call it, but remember this is the positive terminal. Now every component has two legs. The components that we are using, they would always have two legs. So one is, I sent you a link, Brother Shakil sent you a link for a box. It's kind of it says fun kit. It was kind of $16 and it has lots of things in it. Sit there. And the most fundamental thing that we would need is called an LED, light emitting diode. Now, let me share you the picture of what I'm talking about, the thing that Uncle Shakil said that you guys can buy. It will give you another breadboard, but it will get you a bunch of other things also. Let me share that screen with you. So, and I'll be going over so many of these things. So that there is a thing called breadboard. We haven't talked about that yet. We have, these things are called resistors. These are all resistors. Then you have these things. These are small light bulbs. They're called LEDs, light emitting diodes. You need these things for very simple circuits. But when you get those simple circuits, then we'll build up on top of that. Now, you get the breadboard, but you have to have these connectors, these cables also, which will come in this box, right? I got this box and maybe this, you'll have many things that you already got, but this is going to help you also. And you'll get another breadboard, of course, but then you'll get a whole bunch of other things that you will need. Okay, now, how do we make a simple breadboard circuit, or how do we use breadboard for that matter? Let me show you a few simple things to do. All right, so I'm gonna focus on this box. So in this one, there are resistances. There's these cables, these connector cables. You see, they're all colored. More resistors, and you see that they have these values written on those 10 kilo ohms or 1 mega ohm. We'll talk about that. What does those value mean? There's a bunch of components, and we'll talk about a few of those. But let me just take you to a simple circuit using LED. There's other cables. You'll see some of the, on one side there are holes, and the other side these are the pointy ones. So we can connect them with each other. There's one USB cable. We will not deal with that right now, later on probably. There's another circuit thing. There's more capacitors in it. All right, let's get to the breadboard really quick. There are some connector cables. Breadboard. Okay, what does a breadboard do? Breadboard basically helps you build circuit. Instead of twisting cables together to make a circuit, you can use these lines or those buses. So to create simple things, let me show you a little bit more closely. So if you see on your breadboards, you guys have your breadboards with you? So vertically, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A. That's vertical. So all the vertical lines are connected. All the vertical, so one line like A, they all are connected with each other, right? So I'm looking from behind, so all A's are connected. Capish? Now, then there are numbers. So there's number 1, and there's number 5. So you can count 2, 3, 4 in between. So every one number line is connected. But then there is this kind of a river flowing. So things on this side are not connected with things on side, but you can bridge. So if you make one side positive, then you can put the thing on the across, make a bridge to the other side, and you make the other side negative, 2 terminal, right? And here, these things are called bus lines. So basically I can put positive terminal here of my battery, negative here, and then connect this to this one. I'll show you how it is done. I have a question. Yes, question. What's the meeting passcode? Okay. I have a team here who is looking for meeting passcode. Let me give them meeting passcode. It's 1234. It's a very difficult passcode. 1234. All right. Guess. All right. So now, how do I? Simple thing. I'm going to use an LED and I'm going to light it up. Now, LEDs, they come in a box. How do I know? Okay, so LEDs have different ratings. They would work at different voltage. So if you have a 2-volt LED and you apply 9 volt to it, what's going to happen? Anyone? If you have a 2-volt rated LED and you apply 9 volts to it, what's going to happen? Guys, give me an answer. Anything.
It's not gonna work. It's gonna like pop.
It's gonna pop. Yeah, it's gonna blow away. It's not going to there won't be a blast, but it's gonna fuse. It's gonna go bad. You won't be able to use it. So how do I know what's the voltage for this? We use multimeter. You all have multimeter with you? You all have multimeter with you? All right, bring your multimeter out and I'll show you first thing on multimeter do, how to find what is the voltage rating of this. Right? So generally what we do is we assume it to be 2 volt because they come in range from 2 to 3 volt. Let me take a step back. Instead of doing that, I assume it to be 2 volt to be on safe side. There are 2 volts, there are 3 volts. And when I say 2 volts, I have a 9 volt battery. There is a simple relationship called Ohm's law. I'm going to write it in the chat box. Ohm's law. Ohm's law is, you must know it already, voltage is equal to current times resistance, V equals IR, right? So, but now I have too much voltage. I have 9 volts and want to use it with 2 volts. An LED normally uses 20 millivolt. Milli is small v, small amp, 20 millivolt, which is, sorry, let me take it back. An LED is normally 2 volts, sorry, and it uses normally 2 milliamps. Ignore 20 millivolts, sorry, that was. Now, from 9 volt, and I say don't worry about it too much, just trust me on this. From a 9 volt battery to use a 2 volt LED divided by current it takes. So basically what I'm doing is I'm finding resistance I have to use to put next to an LED to make it work. I'm just doing R equals V over I. So if you divide 7 by 0.02, what do you get? Can somebody calculate 7 divided by 0.02? Seven divided by 350. Okay. So to make a 2 volt LED work with a 9 volt battery, I have to add a 350 ohms resistance to it. Just follow with me today. It's a basic demonstration. So we'll talk more on numbers and how do we do that when we go further. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put an LED in, say, number 5. I'm putting an LED in number 5. So see how I did that? So one leg of LED is on one side of the valley and the other leg is on the other side of the valley, right? So, but now how do I power it? Before I power it, I have to put a 350 ohms resistance in circuit so my 9 volt doesn't blow it off. Resistances. So in this package, they have sent me a bunch of resistances. I'm looking for 350 ohms. These are all huge, 5.1K, 1K, 100K. But I look at the other bag and I see there is one given at 330 ohms, which is fine. We can approximate close numbers. So I have to look for 331, one that has 330. So, when they send you, they have these nice numbers written, so you know which one is what. But you know what? When you take them out of it, and I will do that with 301, then there is no number written on the resistance. So if I take one out of it, I did take one out before, but let me take another one out of it. So just remove from that paper. So I have this 330 with me, right? So now I have to put in series with that LED. And I said, these things run connected to each other. So if I put it in the next one, let me put it in a few apart so you guys can see. If I put, they're connected, right? You can see that because the lines like this are connected. So I put in the next one. And then I have to put it in another row, but different column because columns are also connected. So I did put it like this, right? But now I have to power it from the outside. Now I have to power with my battery. I already got the battery together. So there's simple way I can do. I can just directly connect it in any. Let me make the circuit and then I'll show you. It's already lit up. I have to probably break the connection so it's not too bright. So what I've done is, if you see the black one, I put it in the same row as the resistance. And then I have to put this in the next to the LED. So I can put it next to this here in the same line, right? You can see that that creates a simple circuit. Creates a very simple circuit. What have we achieved today? We have made sure we attach the polarity, put the resistance, put the LED. Okay, this is how breadboard works. But the things that you have to build for the project, those 3 projects, will require a little more circuit, but it will require the same procedure of connecting things. There are bunch of websites, YouTube videos to show you precisely how to make those things that I've asked in the project. So for me, it's